On there, we're recording. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to do that one. Alrighty, I'm going to go into presentation mode. Maria, give me a thumbs up if you can see that okay. And you can hear me okay. Awesome. Again, welcome everybody. Today we're going to cover a variety of things. We're going to talk about the steps in the CPT process. We'll talk about CPT eligibility and guidelines. We're going to talk about deadlines for both summer and fall. We'll talk about different CPT options for you as international students, and then some things to consider and be aware of looking ahead after this meeting. We'll share with you the contacts that you need to be aware of in both the ISSS office and ELC. And then I'll stop the recording and do all your questions at that point.
He was like,
all right, so let's talk about the CPT process. The first step that I encourage all international students to do is attend 2 workshops. They're both Canvas courses. One is offered through the ELC. It's our internship workshop. This is a requirement for all international students who want CPT. And I'll also create a PDF of this along with the links and email that out to everybody who is in attendance tonight, because Maria is being an awesome pal and capturing everybody who's at the meeting tonight. There's also a work clinic through ISSS, a CPT work clinic that's very important, and there's the link there. So I encourage everybody, if you haven't completed these 2 Canvas courses, complete them as soon as you can. Get that out of the way so it doesn't create anything that would be a holdup down the road as you're trying to get your CPT squared away and start working. All right, so the second step is really go find a position that's related to your major, and that's really important to keep in mind. If you're working off campus and you need CPT, the position that you find has got to be related to your major in order to be eligible for CPT as well as academic credit. So just be aware of that. Okay. Our office, Experiential Learning Center, is here to help you with searching or applying for positions. All right, the Career Center is also here on campus, and if you're a business student, the Business Career Center in the business school is a wonderful resource as well. So lots of resources available to you. Please take advantage of them. That's why we are here, okay? Once you are offered and accept a position, here are the basic steps moving forward. You want to get an offer letter from your employer. As soon as you get the offer letter from your employer, you want to email that offer letter to your internship advisor in the Experiential Learning Center. Once your advisor gets the offer letter from you, they will respond to you with specific next steps, okay? But basically, moving forward, what you'll do is you'll report your position in Handshake. We'll guide you in terms of where to go and how to do that. Once you report the position, you'll schedule an appointment with your internship advisor. And in that appointment, we'll go over the information you reported. If there's any relevant documentation for the course or whatever, we'll go over that with you. And then once we have all the information we need, we'll start the approval process for you. Once your internship or position is approved, then we'll provide you with the information so you can enroll in the internship course. And then we'll also start down the path to get your I-20. And basically, once we send you the enrollment information, we fill out an online form for ISSS, a CPT recommendation form, and within 24 hours of our completing that form, you will receive an email from ISSS to fill out a form as well. And it's very important that you complete that form to keep the process moving forward. Okay. So in order to be eligible for CPT as an international student, there are some things to keep in mind. You must be an F1 status. You must have an F1 visa. All right, you're a continuing student. You're still going to school. If you're graduating or have graduated, you're not eligible for CPT. Once you graduate, then you move to OPT, and that'll be a separate workshop that Maria will do here in the near future for you. If you're new to the United States, you need to complete at least one academic year, 2 semesters, before you're eligible for CPT. You must be in good academic standing as defined by your school or college, okay? And again, internships or employment must be an integral part of your academic program, must be related to your field of study in your school or college. Okay, if you're a marketing major and you get a history internship, that's awesome, but it's not gonna qualify for CPT. Maybe if you're doing something on the history of marketing, you could make a case for it, but that would be a separate conversation. It's got to be related to your field of study. Let's talk about some guidelines and timelines that are very important. Again, academic credit is tied to CPT. The way you receive academic credit is you enroll in an internship course, okay? As an undergraduate, it's a 39 level course. As a graduate, for most of them, it's a 59 course, okay? And the internship courses are variable credit. So you can enroll in anywhere from 1 to 3 credits. And you'll want to have a conversation with your academic advisor in terms of how many credits make the most sense for you. If the credits are counting towards your degree, they're helping you toward degree completion, you know, you might want to take a 3-credit course as an elective, for example. But if it's not helping you toward degree completion, if it's an extra credit that you're taking so you can qualify for CPT, you probably want to do it just for 1 credit to minimize your cost. Okay, again, the position must be related to your major or field of study here at CU Denver. Very important point here, CPT must be obtained or renewed every semester. Let's say you get an offer for a position that starts in summer. We'll go through the process we described to get enrolled in the summer internship course. Well, let's say the position is going through the end of the calendar year, through the end of December. That means that you'll go through the CPT process, get CPT for summer, and then you'll need to get CPT again for fall, okay? You'll need to enroll in an internship course for summer. You'll need to enroll in the internship course again for fall. All right, so just be aware of that. CPT deadlines each semester vary slightly by school or college, so you want to just check with your internship advisor because they can give you the best guidance and information for your academic program, okay? Very, very, very important point here that you have to keep in mind. You need to allow up to 3 weeks from the time you report your position in Handshake to meet with your internship advisor, to have it go through the approval process through Handshake, and to receive the I-20 from ISSS that allows you to begin working legally. This can take up to 3 weeks. It's very important that you communicate this to your prospective employers. They don't know this. Some employers think I can write you an offer letter today and you're going to start working on Monday. That's not how it works here. Be aware of the 3 weeks and communicate that with them so they understand the timeline. Because if they need to accelerate things to generate an offer letter for you quicker than usual, they need to know that, right? Otherwise, you'll miss a deadline potentially and not be able to work. Okay, let's talk about some deadlines. Again, the 3 weeks. So for example, the upcoming summer semester, the latest date you want to have an offer letter in hand from an employer to work for summer is May 26th. And if you get it by May 26th, and report your internship and start moving through the process, you'll have your I-20 by June 19th. June 19th is the latest date you can start working because the requirement for summer internships is you need to work at least 6 weeks, over the summer. And you need to work at least 10 weeks fall and spring semester. After June 19th, there's less than 6 weeks and you won't be able to work. Okay, so as you're looking for summer positions, make sure that you communicate with employers that you need an offer letter in hand by May 26th at the latest. Okay. For fall semester, if you're considering fall semester, the latest date you can have an offer letter in hand is September 15th in order to have an I-20 and be able to start working by October 9th. Because after October 9th, there's less than 10 weeks left in the fall semester. Okay. So there's a little bit more time in fall and spring semesters after census date to be able to get offer letters and start working than there is for summer, because summer is such a shorter semester. Okay. Now, the flip side of that, if you get an offer earlier, you can start reporting summer semester internships and positions in Handshake beginning April 1, and you can start working as early as May 14th. Summer positions can begin once the spring academic semester is over with. Spring semester ends on May 13th, which is a Saturday, so you probably won't start working on Sunday the 14th, probably be Monday the 15th, okay? For fall semester, you can start reporting the positions in Handshake beginning the 1st of July. And the summer semester ends, I think it's July 29th. Let me just double check that. Yep, July 29th. So you could theoretically start working for a fall semester position as early as July 30th. Okay, but you need to have your I-20 in hand from ISSS before you can legally start working. Okay. I'm going to stop chatting at you, and I'm going to let Maria take over from this point, because now we're really getting into some very specific CPT guidelines, and she is the expert on these sorts of things. Maria, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for being here. Makes us feel loved. So I am going to go over immigration regulations and the dry stuff. So hang on, take notes. So hopefully a lot of you have done the CPT course already. So this is just a refresher. Again, this is an overview. CPT is defined to be alternative work study, internship, cooperative education, or any other type of required internship or practicum that is offered by sponsoring employers through cooperative agreements with the school. So everything that Paul does is that cooperative agreement between the employer and the university. The student and exchange visitor program has stated in practical terms, integral part of an established curriculum means an opportunity must be required by the curriculum, or if not required, the student must receive credit for the training. So this is the reason why you have to register for an internship credit. In some instances, that could be an independent study, but that's for Anschutz students. But yeah, you always have to be registered when you're doing internship CPT. Next slide, please. So International Student Scholar Services interprets an integral part of an established curriculum as it is related to the major and bound to the curriculum through cooperative agreements between the university and the employer. Again, it has to be an agreement between the employer, the university, it has to be required for your degree, related to your degree. And unpaid internship would also fall under the umbrella of curricular practical training, right? Not all internships are paid. So we want to make sure that you know that it's okay if it's unpaid, because if it is related to your degree, it is CPT. One of the following, the specific options students can gain approval for CPT. The information and examples below are not meant to cover every possible scenario for CPT, rather meant to serve as a general guide. So we'll go over different things here coming up. So if you have a situation that falls outside of the information that we're going to talk about next, you want to make an appointment with one of us, one of the ISIS specialists, and we can go over that. Because I'm sure there's a way for us to work out what your needs are, but we need to know what the specifics are. So there are 4 ways that you can gain approval for CPT. This is one of them. So practical training experience is required for a student's degree. So it's already known that your degree requires an internship. Practical training experience or employment is required for the degree completion, so you cannot graduate unless you do this internship. Required for the degree means that the requirement must be documented as such on an official university publication or catalog. Enrollment in credit is not necessarily required because the requirement is part of the student's official program requirements, not necessarily course completion. So on the 2 points here on the explanation, one, it should not be a secret that it's required. Everyone who's in your degree is required to do this, so it's well known. And then the examples here, they're both good examples. I'll read the first one here. A student's degree program requires that a student work at a teaching or research assistant during the final semester of the program. This is a requirement for all students, and it is formal document in the program student's handbook. Okay, I'll give you a second to read the second example there. All right. So this is option 2. This could be you. Practical training experience is required to earn internship, practicum, independent study credit for which the student will be registered. So in the explanation here, internship, practicum, independent study credit is specifically linked to the student's academic department or school, college. And the enrollment in credit is required and may or may not be counted towards the degree requirements. So in the second point here, let's talk about master's degree. Most masters are 30 credits, right? So it's either already built into that or it's going to be an additional 3. You cannot do additional 3 on its own just because you already completed your degree. It has to be when you're still working on your needed credits. And then I'll read the second example here. A student's degree program does not require students to do an internship in order to graduate, but does offer the option to enroll in internship credit. Student would only be eligible for CPT and enrollment in internship credit before completion of all requirements of the degree program. Student can not only enroll in elective internship credit in the final semester if they have finished all other degree requirements for graduation. So that goes to that second point under the explanation. And again, I'll give you a second to read that first example listed. All right. So option 3, practical training experience will provide research that is necessary for a student's thesis or dissertation. The key words here are that it's necessary for a thesis or dissertation. So some of whom might follow into that. Students enroll in thesis or dissertation credit might be eligible to be approved for CPT in connection with the credit if the off-campus work is directly related to the research goal objectives. So this narrows it down even more than just related to the degree, and narrows it down to the thesis and dissertation. So enrollment in thesis or dissertation credit alone does not automatically mean that a student would be approved for CPT. Again, just because you're in the dissertation credit, that doesn't alone mean that you can just go out and find a job. It has to be very specific to the research and the thesis you're working on. And then the example here, a student is enrolled in dissertation credit and is working on research necessary for the completion of the dissertation that can be completed through off-site employment in the student's field of study. The employment at the company specifically connects to the student's dissertation. It is not simply related to the field of study. Okay, so it's very narrow focus on the dissertation or thesis. And then next option. Oh. So this is the last, so there are 4, this is the last one, I believe. Practical training experience will deal a project for a particular course that is required by a student's degree or program. So a student enroll in a course that is required by their program in order to graduate. And then the example here, a student is enrolled in a course that requires a final project as part of their grade. The goal, learning objectives of the final project can be achieved directly through the responsibilities, duties, or position of off-campus that a student has been offered in the field of study. So this is common with, think of the arts and media students. So they have to go work on a mural at the Denver Art Museum for a class. And so it's related to the classes they're in. And it's being like that project, if they don't complete it, they don't graduate, right? So it's very specific to that class and then the project within that class. And this is just a look ahead. Once the ELC approves all the needed information from the employer, remember that relationship between the employer and the schools and you, the ELC will send a request to ISS to create the work authorization. And then we send out, ISS sends out a confirmation to the student to confirm that everything looks good. And as soon as we have that, then we move forward with the I-20. We are working on 10 business turnaround, so you have to remember, we wish we could just approve everything on site, but we have to review these things. We have to make sure they're following all the things that we need to follow. And then number 4 here, if you do not already have a social security number, and this will be the first time that you're working, these are the things you want to take to the Social Security office when you make an appointment to get that social security number. And then these are the ISSS specialists. So first one is me, then Gerard and Jasmine. Either of us will, depending on the last digit of your student ID, you could get one of us to work on your I-20. And I'm sure you've seen correspondence from all of us.
And here's a slide with the members of our team and the major portfolios we work with. I work with graduate business and the science and math majors in CLAS. Doug is a new internship advisor on our team. He joined us right before the holidays, and he's going to be working with undergraduate business at this time. Nathan works with the College of Engineering and the liberal arts majors in CLAS. Just heads up for everybody, within this coming year, before the end of the calendar year, I imagine Nathan will be completing his master's degree program and moving off in a new career direction. So we'll be managing that process, and look forward to hiring a new internship advisor at some point in the coming year. But we'll make everybody aware of the transition as it comes up. But for now, Nathan, he's been with us 3 years and doing an amazing job, is working with engineering and liberal arts in CLAS. And then Lauren Stewart is working with College of Arts and Media, College of Architecture and Planning, and the School of Public Affairs. All right, I am going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll take these questions.